Haha, professional streamer. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another absolutely wild, absolutely wild, um, just wow, absolutely unfathomable, quite frankly, uh, preview season for Final Fantasy. The Final Fantasy preview season has officially begun, far earlier than normal. Far earlier than normal. I don't know what to make of that, but yeah, this is a new. The set is a big deal. That is true. The set is a very, very, very big deal. But I did not know that it was such a big deal that preview season, that's not even just preview season would start early, but that the commander decks, which are typically reserved to the final weekend, like final 4 days or final 2 days even, or final day of the preview season, is all out now. We didn't even get to see a singular or multiple YouTube channel covering the decks, right? No Command Zone, no MTG Mudsta, no new faces, no one. They just dropped. Finally, because of 14 days is Final Fantasy 14 thing. True, right? Yes. I have heard that reference with Final Fantasy. Yep. Indeed. So yeah. I'll just say it right now, chat. I have no idea who any of these people are gonna be. I have only played Final Fantasy 12. And like the games in the Evilus Alliance realm, so like Tactics. There was another 12 game on the Game Boy DS, a Nintendo DS, that was like Revenant Wings. Oh god, Revenant Wings was so good. So yeah, I know 12, and everything else I don't really know. I played 4 up until the point where you get to the moon, and then I was level capped against the moon spirit up there and just couldn't progress forward, so that sucked. And I played 13 up to the point where it becomes open world, right? So like I did the final hallways 13 as it was memed on at the time until it became actual open world, but by then I had just lost care. I just stopped. I was just uninterested in what was going on. So that's right near the end for 4. Yeah, I just got level capped. I don't know. I just wasn't strong enough to beat that when the moon spirit saloon or something. You should play Tactics Advanced. Oh, I played Tactics Advanced. I played all the Tactics Advanced, Tactics A2. Like I did all of that. The Evilus Alliance games are the ones I played. Those I played. To be fair, 13 was a weird one. Cool characters, but I don't blame you. Yeah, it's just something that didn't connect with me very well. I mean, hey, it was right after 12, so I was like pretty excited to kind of have a Final Fantasy game, but like the storyline, and honestly, like the l'Cie and Pulse l'Cie and the differences or similarities between them, just like for some reason that part of the story just like did not gel with like how I guess accept and understand stories. I guess I don't know. But either way, that is my pass with Final Fantasy. I have only played 4, apparently close to the end, all the way through 12 and the 12 surrounding games, so I love them, and then the first half of 13. So that's it. I've not played I haven't played 7, I haven't played 10 or 10-2, I haven't played any of the remakes, remasters, none of it. That being said, chat, I'm going to need your help, especially you and me, Bite. I don't know who these characters are, right? This will be the first Magic the Gathering set where I'm not gonna have pretty much any like emotional reaction to just about anything that's largely going on, if that makes sense, right? Like I've just never played any of these things, right? So I'm going to heavily rely on you all to tell me, hey, like, yeah, this flavor is on point, or like, nah, not really. Like, it's not really. This ain't it. Because I have no idea. I don't have the ability to go like, oh yeah, this is a reference to the part in the game where this happened, or so on and so forth. I'll just be like, yeah, okay. I guess Cloud shoots a Kamehameha. I guess that's just like what happened. I have seen Advent Children, so I think that's pretty much all I need to see of 7, right? I think that's basically answers it all. Well, the story of Final Fantasy X is essentially an isekai. Young Blitzball celebrity Tidus gets transported forward through time to a post-apocalyptic Spira. Okay. No, Sabin's the one who shoots Kamehameha. Okay, perfect. Got it. Got it, right. He finds out that a huge whale-like being is destroying the land, and the only thing that can temporarily stop it is the calm brought on by summoners going on a pilgrimage. She joins Yuna as one of their guardians to do this. Okay, got it. So Yuna seems to be an important person. And this is the Tidus guy here, I see. Yeah. So I mean, let's start this up. Let's begin. Let me do this really fast, and this really fast, and then we'll. So what I have, I mean, like I have the I have the. Okay. So I have the precons here, obviously, as you can see, and there are a lot of precon-ism going on right here, like a lot. And it's Jesus, like it's just so much. It's just so much. It's gonna be a big whale monster thing. Oh, is that Sin Vola? We saw that there's already a Sin. It's like a Sultai Sin card. Is that the big giant whale? Yuna's primary skill is getting kidnapped. Okay, so like Resident Evil 2, yeah? Is that basically the reference here? The art on the precons is unreal. New cards and reprints absolutely stunning. Yeah, they've done a lot here to bring the Final Fantasy set to life in just outrageously huge ways. So what we're going to do, chat, is what we normally do, which is ba-boom, go, not that part, this one. We're going to go over each of the brand new cards first, right? So first we'll go over the brand new cards one at a time, so we don't get too caught with like what the reprints are. And then we'll kind of like take the whole deck as a whole, okay? So, yeah, we're kind of gonna go over Tidus right here and help me figure out, like, what we're supposed to feel with this, with each of these cards. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Do you want to avoid spoilers? No, I don't. I don't care about the spoilers for these games. I need to, just like Magic, right? Where there's like, listen, there's not really any story by the time the set comes out. I know it all. I need to know this all too, because yeah, I don't mind. I'm not going to play these games. Not because these games are bad. It's just because I'm not someone who necessarily goes back and plays games very often. There's literally spoilers in the card text. We can't. Yeah. Exactly. Also that too. I need to know when these cards are on point. Okay. And then also, chat. We're going to do the help me find cards that, like, cards that already exist in Magic that go with say Tidus, right? So first we want to explain. We're going to explain what Tidus does as we look at the abilities, and then we're going to point out 3 cards for each of these, whether they're like commanders, that like if it's just like a rare or a card that goes in the 99. I want to know what decks we would put them in that already exist in Magic, and then if they are commanders like Tidus here, what are cards that already exist that will be perfect for them. There's sorry if you don't want. Yeah, no, forget it. Chat's gonna have to deal with it. So his deal is that he's a warrior, but initially he's like an underwater football star. Blitzball is underwater. Okay, did not know that. So that's step 1. Tidus, Yuna's Guardian. Green, white, and blue. 3/3 legendary creature, human warrior. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may remove a counter from target creature you control onto a second creature you control. Okay, so they have to be 2 separate creatures. And then cheer, whenever 1 or more creatures you control with counters on them deal combat damage to a player, you may draw a card and proliferate. Do this only once each turn. Okay, combat on our turn. So that's good to know. Only combat on our turn. Move a counter from a creature we control to a second one. So you can't put them on the same creatures. You're gonna have at least 2 creatures. And then whenever 1 or more creatures you control with counters on them deal combat damage to the player, draw a card and proliferate. Do this only once each turn. That's wild. Okay. They hold their breath real good. Is that Tidus's main thing? His breath holding. Blitzball is a fully underwater, and players are completely submerged. Unaided? Unaided? What, do they have to swim back to the surface in order to breathe? How is that? What? Huh? That doesn't make any sense. That seems unwise. They just hold their breath? Oh my gosh. Hi, Chris. They hold their breath that long while playing sports? Okay. Okay, so that's Tidus. Alright, so what I'm learning from Tidus is that he... Let me make notes right here. Okay. Card. Lore 1. Okay, what I'm learning from Tidus is that he breathes, can hold breath for 10 mins. Okay, so Tidus is really good at holding his breath underwater for 10 minutes straight, which, you know, can be pretty useful in the day-to-day, you know, depending on if you're a kind lover. Am I Twitch? Yes. Yep, we're currently live on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. Tidus is going to be good in the Traxa. Oh, God. Ah! Oh, yeah, no, that's right. In the Isekai game with Ghost and Magic Murder Noodle, Blitzball is the wildest part. That is the weirdest part. Maybe the water is oxygenated or something. Who knows? Who knows? He comes from a city called Zanarkand, and it's attacked by Sin. That's how he gets isekai into the future. So he's from the past, and then he gets sent to the future where things are bad, and he can try to save it from being bad. Vivi Orinator? Who's Vivi? Okay, hold on. So let's look at Tidus here. Okay, so proliferate, Bant proliferation, right? What magic cards that already exist are pretty good with, like, Tidus? Like, what are we immediately adding to a Tidus deck that might not already be there, that already exists in Magic? Oh, Denry. Yep. Yeah, I can, even without looking at the set, we can definitely guarantee that Denry, Clen, editor-in-chief is not in the set, right? Although he is a cat advisor, so maybe he would be. That actually might, you know, maybe. Who are you? Where are you? Yeah, Denry Clan. Okay, what else? What else? Anything with divinity? Oh, divinity counters. Yeah. Wait. Hold on. Divinity count. Hold on. I like divinity counters. Wait a minute. That's hot. Hold on. What has divinity counters? What's like the best divinity counter guy? Chris from TikTok has arrived. Thank you very much, Boy Vision. 𝔹𝕃ℂ𝔻, which is like the best 𝔹𝕃ℂ𝔻, like the number one 𝔹𝕃ℎ for this right here. And thank you very much. I don't know where my sound system is. I don't know why it's off currently, but we'll fix that. There we go. Thank you very much for the follow, friend. Appreciate you. So we have 𝔹𝕃ℂ𝔻 as a step 1 for being a pretty heckin' good card here. Where'd you go? The 𝔹𝕃ℂ𝔻. Which 𝔹𝕃ℂ𝔻? Where you're from? Probably not probably Blooming Dawn. No. Cryptic Dreams? Probably Life's Web, right? Remove a divinity counter, put any number of creature cards from your hand into play. It's probably that one, right? Or would it be like 𝔹𝕃ℂ𝔻 of Seeing Winds? Which is like the number 1 that we're doing here. Resolving Life's Web multiple times is not useful, but resolving it once could win you the game, right? Resolving it once is already huge. But I'd say that Seeing Winds is probably like the better one here. Oh yeah, there we go. Denry, yeah, Denry is ooh, there we go. Sorry, I lost track of that. Denry's a sick one. I need the lore blurbs. I'm putting the lore blurbs on the screen. Can hold breath for a long time. That's the number 1 thing I need to learn about Titus. Is that he got that breath on him. That breathing technique. He can go down for hours. Got it. Why not both? That is both. But right now I'm trying to find examples of just like, hey, you know, like, if you're trying to, like, this is like a straight up upgrade immediately for Titus, right? 𝔹𝕃ℂ𝔻, Editor-in-Chief, is a pretty good example of like a good card that you'd want to put in, right? Because it's like a guy that once Titus puts 1 counter on Denry, now every creature that comes in will get these counters, right? Which is what Titus is definitely messing around with. 𝔹𝕃ℂ𝔻 of Seeing Winds is a pretty good example of like, hey, there's certain counters in Magic that go pretty sicko mode, especially when you can proliferate them. And 𝔹𝕃ℂ𝔻 of Seeing Winds is like the number 1 tech for putting in Titus here. Are you doing lore-based deck building? No. I think that I don't know enough about the lore. As of yet, so I don't believe I'd be able to do lore-based deck building quite yet. Branching Evolution and doubling season effect for proliferate? Yes. I think that is definitely true, and I think, but doubling counters might already be in the deck in some way, shape, or form. So I want to find just like one more more unique and different thing that you can do in Magic, that probably isn't in the precon already. Myogen just seems so expensive for what it is. That one bristleback creature from Outlaws that puts counters on creatures equal to counters on it. Oh, bristleback Bristly Bill? Esri? Ooh, I like. No, not just Esri. Oh yeah, whenever you proliferate, draw a card. Yes. Although, hold on. Well, no. If with Esri, Stalker of the Spheres, which is whenever you proliferate, draw a card, we would only draw one card. Whenever one or more creatures you control with counters on deal combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. Do this only once each turn, right? So like proliferate is just choose all your counters at once and then put them on another time, which is like Esri would only make you draw one card. So something slightly more than that. No, that's only my bad. It was Devour one. Oh yeah. What's something pretty unique for adding counters? Oh, Tekkathal. Thank you. I think actually that's pretty good. I think Tekathal's a pretty good example of kind of what I am trying to point out here, right? So, boom, Tekathal, right? It's like if you would proliferate twice instead. That's something that we won't probably see in any sort of precon, because proliferating is already a pretty unique mechanic by itself, but being able to say, hey, I know Titus only makes you trigger this proliferate once a turn, but now you trigger it a second time, that's going to be pretty awesome. And if you put any other proliferates in your deck, Tekathal will be there to double up on it. Random but gift for the Viper is one of your favorite instants with counters. Which one is that one? It sounds like plus and counters. It sounds like a snakeskin. Important to know about Titus, his dad went missing 10 years prior to the beginning of the game. His dad was also a Blitzball celebrity and emotionally abusive when it came to Titus. Very man's man kind of guy. Does he arise and slay his father? Does his father become the evil villain at the... Is his father Sin? Wait, what? He got Isekai 10 years prior? That's crazy. Only costs 4/2? Yeah, you can literally go Titus into Tekathal and to start smacking people and be pretty up there. I mean, technically, yes. Wait, what? What do you mean, technically, yes? His father does become... What? Wow, alright. Sin is jacked. Okay, well, perfect. Alright, see? Chat, listen, we're doing spoilers. I already figured out the entire game. Yeah, I've seen enough anime. Yeah, they call me the anime master over here. I've already seen enough isekai. Don't even have to play the games. Just that good. True. I don't even have to play 10. Sick. Dope. Alright. So, I don't even have to play the game anymore. Crazy. 10-2 has a nice wrap-up if you rank out. So 10-2 is like a full-on sequel to a Final Fantasy game, right? Because like that's not normal, from what I understand. They don't really like sequelize their games, except for 13, 13.1, 13.2, 13.3. It was the first Final Fantasy sequel. Gotcha. Sin is like a title that's passed on, right? Oh. Moving the Ocean Divinity Counters is a great idea. Yeah, you're right, exactly. Okay, so chat, we're gonna do the thing, because we're gonna move on from Titus. We're gonna go on to the next ones, because we wanna talk about each individual brand new card from these decks. If they're commanders, cards that would go into any deck that Titus is gonna want, right? And then if they're just kind of like cards that go in the 99, I want to point out commanders that would be benefited from this card, okay? And this is all part of, how we do, where we take clips from the stream and then turn it into, clips that go up on the internet later. So, that's what we're going to do right now. So, okay. And then I click this button here. All right. If you're looking for the number 1 cards to put into Titus, then you're going to want to go no further than 𝔹𝕃℃𝔻. 𝔹𝕃℃𝔻 is fantastic because you're going to be able to put counters that are already on your creatures with Titus, right? Bring them over to 𝔹𝕃, and then now every single card that comes after 𝔹𝕃 is going to have all of the counters that Titus just moved on to him, right? So +1/+1 counters, vigilance counters, whatever it is, you can move that counter from somewhere else to 𝔹𝕃, and then now the whole board comes in with them. What's the next one that we did? It was fucking, oh my gosh, yeah. And the coolest counters in Magic, I think that you can put on anything, is going to be the divinity counters from, like, the Meosians, right? So Meosian of Seeing Winds, remove a divinity counter, draw as many cards equal to the amount of permanents you control. Chat, we know that this is going to be pretty freaking sweet because by the time Meosian comes out, it's already a 10-drop creature, right? This Meosian's extremely expensive, but if you swing, be able to proliferate the Meosian of Seeing Winds divinity counter and then remove that extra divinity counter, you're going to draw a bunch of cards. Then once you go into the other Meosians, like the the green one and the white one, that's how you're going to finish the game out. So no matter how late the game goes, once you start putting out these 10-drop creatures, you're going to definitely finish the game from then on. And then lastly, Proliferate's a pretty unique mechanic. We actually don't have too many cards in Magic that let you benefit from proliferating, and Titus's limitation is that he can only proliferate once when you do his ability. So, a card like Tekkathal, Inquiry Dominus, allows you to proliferate multiple times. Anytime you proliferate once with Titus, you actually do it twice. And if you have other proliferate cards in your deck, again, Tekkathal will trigger again and again. So Tekkathal will keep on letting you do everything Titus wants to do over and over and over again. So these are the 3 main upgrades I would put in any Titus Unis Guardian deck. And boom, there we go, see? Flipped over my words, but we got it. Odric for redundancy would be great. Wait, Odric? What, for the, Odric, the abilities one? I don't know about that one. Proliferate should affect every kind of counter you choose, even Planeswalker decks, so that's, Proliferate triggers on everything. Final Fantasy is going to be convoluted. Very convoluted. Very, very, very convoluted. Okay, so, let's go forward to the next one. We know what Titus Unis Guardian does, and so, of course, the next one we have here is... It is actually going to be Yuna herself, right? Yuna Grand Summoner. 1 green, white, and blue. Legendary creature, human cleric, 1/5. Grand summon, tap, add 1 mana of any color. When you next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature enters with 2 additional +1/+1 encounters on it. Whenever another permanent you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, if you had 1 or more counters on it, you may put that number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. Okay, hold on. Okay. 4 mana, 1/5. Human Cleric, cool. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. When you next cast a creature this turn, that creature enters with 2 +1/+1 counters. Okay, sure, whatever. That's pretty normal. Whenever another permanent you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, if it had 1 or more counters on it, you may put that number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. So, if it had 1 or more counters, you may put that many number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. So if you had 2 +1/+1 counters and a vigilance counter and a flying counter and a divinity counter, you would put 5 +1/+1 counters on a different creature. So that's pretty interesting. That's okay, like that's kind of interesting. All right. So much silly potential with her. I mean, okay, you sacrifice the Millennium Calendar, you get a ton of +1/+1 counters. This is true. So, but in fairness, right? I know everyone's like saying that this is super busted. I'm just seeing a creature, a commander, that says like put +1/+1 counters on a creature when other things die, right? Like I'm not missing something here. I know that it can be a lot of +1/+1 counters, don't get me wrong, but like it is just like she's just messing around with +1/+1 counters at the end of the day, right? 2 creatures with persist and sack out and you go infinite. True. Okay, yeah. I'm seeing that, right? Because like -1/-1 counters will count as +1/+1 counters. So, give me the freed from the real and you go infinite. What do you need freed from the real from? Oh, well, okay. Well, I mean, that's not really saying much, right? Oh, actually, you know what? No. I see what you're saying. That is actually kind of hot. Okay. I'll give you that. Yeah. No, freed from the real. That's actually kind of dope. That's actually pretty sweet, right? So, like, you can tap her, pay a blue to untap, but this just keeps saying the next creature, when you next cast a creature this turn, right? So you keep on activating her forever, and you get infinite +1/+1 counters, right? Going infinite with this is kind of lame, though. It's too easy. Listen, chat, I think this is going to be pretty constant theme with this entire set, is that going infinite with these characters is going to be, like, really, really easy. Like, really, really easy. Anything with persist becomes infinitely as strong as long as you have a way to sack it. Yeah. What has persist? That's really good. Kitchen Finks, right? Is Kitchen Finks the card? Yeah. So Kitchen Finks, right? So this has persist. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life, and persist. When this creature dies, if it had no -1/+1 counters on it, return it to the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it, right? So you have Kitchen Finks, comes in, you know, after you cast it with Yuna, has +1/+1 counters on it. You sacrifice it, it dies, it comes back with a -1/-1 counter on it, right? Sacrifice it again. You put +1/+1 counters on something else with persist. Well, it still had -1/-1 counters on it, right? So yeah, how do we? You gotta put in a fresh persisted card, right? Is that how that's gonna work? Making a 999 needles list. I mean, arguably. If it's just either in like an Ashnod's altar or something similar, yeah. Also buff other creatures in the process. True. Yuna is the high summoner. Tidus' journey with no in which to defeat Sita. Everyone knows, but Tidus is the player. But Tidus and the player is that the summoner defeating Sin will die in the process. So the journey for most of the characters is one of reluctant acceptance that she will die. Oh, okay. So she knows that she's supposed to sacrifice herself in order to take out Sin. And she kind of goes along with it anyway. So that kind of, like, her grand summon thing, is that feeding into her, summoning some giant creature that's going to take out the big boss? And then, but, yeah, other creatures die, so she gives, like, those counters to something else, yeah? Hey, Crit Bard, Yuna, my beloved. Crit, I don't know anything about these cards. Just like her father, just 10 years prior. Wait, okay, hold on. If Tidus' father gets isekai'd into the future, but in the past, and becomes Sin, and Tidus gets isekai'd into the future and becomes Tidus, her father sacrificed himself 10 years prior in order to do the Grand Summoner thing and defeat Sin. So, is Tidus Yuna's grandfather twice removed? That's my guess. Summoners don't just summon, they also send. Their main job is to help spirits pass on. Oh, that's cool. Oh, okay, so that's what it's a reference to, right? Like she helps spirits move on. Okay, that's kind of sick. Her ability is grand summon in game, and she summons like Ifrit, Shiva. She summons the big ones. Okay. Jet traveled with her father and as her father's guardian. Oh, I see. Okay. Yuna, not Tuna. Sorry. I mean, I'm gonna say Tuna. Okay. So we know that persist obviously goes in something like this, right? A sack outlet with a persister is going to be pretty dope here. You're going to need 2 persisters, though, in order to... Yeah, in order to put the plus and plus encounters on the kitchen things. What's another good persist card? What's another good persist card in Oh, isn't there an artifact? The one wizard one, Archmage? River Kelpie. River Kelpie will draw you infinite cards. Woodfall Primus. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, whoa. Wait, hold on. No, Woodfall Primus. What are you talking? Bro, nah, chat, hush. Woodfall Primus, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Woodfall Primus, when it enters, destroy target non-creature permanent. You could maybe win the game, I guess. Like, you could just... banned? Doesn't say non-land? Yeah, it doesn't say non-land. Correct, Choo Choo Beans. Scoop Face, you play Beamtown Bullies. Hush, you. There's an artifact that takes counters when something dies, right? I don't think it takes the counters off of the creature as it's dying. I don't think that persist goes infinite with the Ozolith. Because it said when it died, it had -1/-1 counters on it. Maybe in MLD combo isn't the best idea to suggest for a precon upgrade. Honestly, at this point, like, to be completely honest, well, we're not upgrading the precons yet. This is a review of the cards that are in the actual commander decks, right? And then like eventually a review of the actual decks itself. But this isn't a precon upgrade, but I am saying, like, hey, these are Magic cards that already exist that go hardcore with Yuna already. And thank you very much for the follow. Blanco, how you doing? Leveler you, yeah. The card, I got an artist proof signature. It's a bit back. $50 budget event? Wait, that's actually kind of hot. I'm going to send you a picture of Titus's daddy, Jet. Okay, thank you. Is it just Titus again? Elikin, hello. Alright, so yeah, no, chat, like, I mean, I think we're good with Yuna here, right? So just in terms of her abilities itself, right? Like, Freed from the Real does go infinite, which I think is honestly pretty funny. To be able to just, like, tap on tap forever, and then the next creature you control that comes into play has infinite +1/+1 encounters on it. I think that's hilarious, right? And then on top of that, if you fuck around with persist creatures, okay, you're going to be able to go infinite with persist because, all right, let me think about it here. Okay, you have Kitchen Finks and Woodfall Primus. They're both just normal, right? You sacrifice one. You sacrifice the Kitchen Finks. It goes away. Comes back with a -1/-1 counter on it. And you gain 2 life. Then you sacrifice the Woodfall Primus. And that comes back. It has -1/-1 counter on it. So yeah, hold on. Yeah, how do we go infinite with these two? Thank you very much, Elikin. DM me. Wait, how do we... I know, yeah, Walking Ballista for sure, but how do we... Hold on, how does the... Need a sack outlet? We have the sacking outlet, right? Walking Ballista's in the precon? Okay. Anyway. When this creature dies, have a no -1/-. So you have to... How do we put the -1/-1 counters on these persisters? Because if it has a -1/-1 counter, you can move it on to this one, but it still died with a -1/-1 counter on it, so it won't come back by itself. So we do need Isochron Scepter and Dramatic Reversal. I mean, that's just... I mean, that has nothing to do with Yuna, though. So yeah, no, hold on. The persisters don't really go infinite with each other here in Yuna. You need a first counter on either of them. Okay, so maybe with Yuna I put a plus and counter on her, and then I sack Woodfall Primus. Kitchen Pink comes with the counter. Sack Woodfall Primus. It comes back with a -1/-1. I will sacrifice the Kitchen Finks, bring that +1/+1 counter to here. It comes back normal, or it comes back with a -1/-1 counter. But that just takes away the +1/+1 counter that's on Woodfall Primus. Okay, but Yuna puts 2 on there, right? So 2 counters. Put that many counters on Primus. It goes gets rid of the -1/-1, gets a +1/+1. Sacrifice that +1/+1 goes here, gets rid of the minus, but then it goes back to normal. Oh, no, yeah, hold on, it doesn't do it. Yeah, it's not a combo then. No. Yeah, we worked it out. It doesn't actually combo off. I don't think. Yeah. Okay, no, that's good. Chat. This is a good discussion. We figured something out. We figured out that a combo doesn't work because we talked through it, which is a good thing, right? Because now when you go out into the world and someone says like, "Oh, just get 2 persist creatures and you go infinite," now we figured out why it doesn't work, right? So let's just do it again. You Kitchen Finks is there, 3/2, right? Tap Yuna, Woodfall Primus comes in with 2 +1/+1 counters, right? Sacrifice the Finks, comes back with a -1/-1 counter. You sacrifice the Woodfall Primus, those 2 counters go over here. It takes one -1/-1 counter away, and then adds a +1/+1 counter, right? And then Woodfall Primus comes back with a -1/-1 counter. You sacrifice the Finks, comes back with a -1/-1, and that one singular +1/+1 goes over to Woodfall Primus, which will now lose the -1/-1 counter on it. They'll cancel out. So now they're both just sitting there. One's naked, and one has a -1/-1 counter. And that won't lead to an infinite. Okay, perfect. That's totally fine. What does work is persist plus, say, Arwen, Weaver, Pope, and Infinite Sakura. Yes, of course. Yeah. No, that is different. That is different. But it is good to know. I'm glad that we worked through this, because that's important. So, not counting these persist creatures, what do we want in here instead? Raw magic, hi. So, what do we want in here instead? What's like another outrageously cool combo with Yuna Grand Summoner? I like Freed from the Real. That's very funny to me. Did we already go over Freed plus Unit Infinite untaps, casting huge walking bullets that kills everyone? Freed from the Real's right here. You see it. You see it right there. We covered that shit. One with the Kami. One with the Kami. What does that do? Oh! Well... It makes you 1/1s, but that doesn't change too much, right? One thing to understand is that Spirit Society is very religious. They follow the teachings of Yevon, who are very anti-technology, Machina, and believe that the use of technology causes sin to come into being. So they essentially forbid all use of Machina, with some exceptions. The only people who don't follow Yevon are the AI bias, and there's a lot of anti-Albahead racism because they use technology. Interesting. Well, I, for one, stand against racism, so... The exceptions include walking ballistic to win it. Yeah, the exceptions include walking ballistic to win the game. True. Maybe walking ballistic is one of those Albahead people. Alright, so one with the Kami, whenever enchanted creature or another modified creature you control dies, make a spirit. Well, the spirit doesn't go infinite with her, or anything like that. Let's see. I do like the idea of Arwen. Wall of Roots seems oh! Yeah, wait a minute, hold on. Wall of Roots is very funny with this, right? Walking ballistic is free counters, in fact, all by device. Hey, see, I'm pulling it together. I'm listening. Wall of Roots is kind of cool here, right? So you put a -01 counter on it, get a green. Oh, but only activate once each turn? No, that's cringe. Hold on. No. Devoted Druid. Does that work in here instead?